I am Reed. I am 27, just an average dude. IV made tons of money mistakes in my 20s, and now I want to share everything I've learned to help you take control of your finances and your life. So these are the 7 stages of financial freedom, what they mean for you, how I reached each one personally, but most importantly, how you can too. Most people think wealth is just about having a ton of money in the bank, but I am telling you that is not it at all. There are levels and stages that you move through where each one fundamentally changes your relationship with money, and honestly just with life itself. A lot of people will get stuck at level 2 or 3 and never even realize there are multiple levels ahead of them. So again, we're going to cover where you are at now, where you are trying to go, and what actually has to happen to get there. I am going to be real with you about my own journey through these stages because honestly you just don't understand it until you've lived it. So let us get into it. Before I get into level 1, tell me which one you are at in the comments below. I am really curious, just a one-liner, something simple. I want to know where everyone is at because I think the answers might surprise you. Level 1 is dependence or survival stage. This is where you might be living paycheck to paycheck. You are stressed about money constantly, and if we're being honest, you are probably relying on someone else to some degree, and that is okay. It could be parents, a boyfriend, a girlfriend, credit cards, whatever at this level. You are unfortunately drowning. Every unexpected expense feels like a freaking crisis. If your car breaks down, that is not just an inconvenience, that is a legitimate emergency that means you can't pay rent because you can't get to work. You are making financial decisions based purely on survival. Can I afford groceries this week? Can I make the minimum payment on my credit card? That is the reality of it. I remember being at this level myself. I was 20 years old working a random job making like 15 bucks an hour, and I had no idea where my money was going. I was using credit cards to buy stuff I didn't need and then stressing out when the bills came. I remember one time my car needed a tire replacement and I literally had to borrow money from a friend to cover it. That was humiliating. I told myself right then I never wanted to feel that way again. But the thing is, at this level, it is hard to think long-term when you are in survival mode. You can even think about building extra income sources or investments because you can barely think about making it to Friday. The stress is constant, the debt is probably growing, and it feels like you are running on a treadmill that never stops. The way out of this is really not sexy. It is about increasing your income. I don't care if that is a better job, picking up a side hustle, learning a new skill, it doesn't matter. You also need to simultaneously cut your expenses to the bone. Remember the gap between what you make and what you spend. I don't care if that gap is small at first. I don't care if that means cutting a couple subscriptions or shopping at a discount store for a bit and eating rice and beans. This is your oxygen. This is what is going to let you start breathing again. But a lot of people want to give up their pride. They want to give up that level of comfort in their life, even temporarily. Please do this because it makes level 2 a lot easier. Level 2 is stability. This is where you've at least stopped drowning. You've got your head slightly above water. You can cover your basics consistently. The lights are on, you are eating, maybe you are not getting eviction notices, but here is the catch. You are still trading all your time for money. You've got a job. You show up, you get paid. If you miss a paycheck, you are screwed. This is where I was in my early 20s. And I remember this phase vividly. I saved everything, and I mean everything. I wasn't even investing at this point because I didn't really know how to, but I had this scarcity mindset that was kind of a double-edged sword. It was useful because it made me save aggressively. I'd rather be on the far end of the spectrum and save too aggressively and live like a bum for 6 months to a year than blow all my money. And if I am being honest, I was working a lot, maybe even too much, but I was focused on skill stacking. I knew level 2 was enough. I knew I couldn't just trade time for money for the rest of my life, even if it was stable, so I was constantly learning. I got better at what I did and made myself more valuable at the company. You can save your way to wealth on a mediocre income. You have to increase your earning potential. This is similar to what I said in level 1, but here's where it gets dangerous. A lot of people get comfortable at this stage. You are not in that crisis anymore, so the urgency fades. I've seen so many people spend their entire lives here. They get a nicer car, a nicer apartment, they go out to eat more, and that gap between income and expenses just shrinks and shrinks. They remaking more money, but spending like they did in level 1 without the urgency. The key to level 2 is maintaining that gap. Keep living below your means. Even as your income grows, keep skill stacking so your income can grow even further, and start thinking about the actual next level, which is building a cushion. Level 3 is security. This is where you finally have some breathing room. You've got an emergency fund, maybe 3 to 6 months of expenses, maybe a little bit more. You've got a plan. You are not just reacting to life anymore. You are actually being proactive about your finances. And at this level, an unexpected expense doesn't ruin you. I remember this feeling well. For those who know, I drive an older BMW. I had a $1,200 expense one time and then another $2,500 one. Those were my only 2 big ones, but they didn't ruin me. It was annoying as hell, but at least I had the money. If you need a new laptop, you can handle it. That constant background anxiety just starts to fade away. The thing about level 3 is you still don't have freedom, right? This whole thing is about freedom. You are still dependent on your job. You are not as vulnerable as you used to be. You've maybe built a moat around yourself, some protection, but you are still trading time for money. And if that income stops, your runway is in months, not years. This is where a lot of financially responsible people live, which is good. You've got your retirement accounts, you are contributing to savings. Maybe you've read some personal finance books. That is genuinely great. It is an accomplishment compared to where most people are. But if you want to keep going, which hopefully if you are watching this video, you do, if you want actual independence, you can stop here. You need to think bigger. Your mindset needs to grow. You need to stop thinking from that scarcity mindset because that was the old you level. 3 is about setting up the systems that will carry you forward. This is where it gets important to start investing, increasing your income still, but also keeping your expenses in check. The main thing is starting to have your money work for you, which goes into level 4 independence. Level 4 is where your entire psychology around money starts to do a complete shift. You can sustain yourself without relying on a single paycheck or technically anyone else. The main thing here is you want to be self-sufficient. I hit this moment in January 2022. My basic needs were covered by freelancing, and I had years, not months of expenses saved. I was around 23 or 24 the first time I could actually see green. I had enough money at this point for many, many years, plus I was investing, plus I was building a business. That mental shift is profound. It is not like, oh crap, if I lose my job, I am screwed. It is like, well, I've got a year or two of runway. You can start thinking in years, not months. This is where you stop making decisions out of fear. You stop taking garbage from employers because you need the paycheck. You can actually take calculated risks because failure doesn't mean your life blows up anymore. You've got some leverage, you've got options. This is where you start to realize money is about buying stuff. It buys your freedom. It is about choices. Do I want to stay in this job or do I have to stay in this job? Can I start something new? Can I move to a new city? Can I take 6 months off and just focus on building a business? These become real questions, not just pipe dreams. At this level, you are not saving anymore. You are investing seriously. You are putting money into index funds or whatever assets make sense for you. You are building things that will grow over time, and you are still focused on increasing your income because the more you can invest now, the faster you move to the next levels. This is where a lot of high earners get stuck. There is this beautiful analogy of golden handcuffs. If you got an incredible job, probably earning multiple 6 figures, they have a solid 6-figure net worth, but they retied to that job because they still have to show up Monday through Friday. They've achieved independence in the sense that they not dependent on others, but they still dependent on their own labor. Level 5 is freedom. This is where you choose when and how to work. Your lifestyle is funded without being tied to a traditional job. You are not retired necessarily. You might still work. You might even work a lot. But you are not doing it because you have to. You do it because you want to. For me, level 5 and level 6 kind of blurred together. I hit them through building my business. I am technically still working for money to this day. I run a business, I create content, I build things, but I technically don't have to. I really don't. At this point, I've got around $1 million invested in the markets, and that money is actively working for me. It is growing. It is paying dividends. By the time I am 40, by the time I am actual true retirement age, that money is going to be multiple 7 figures. And even if I never add another dollar to it, that money is going to keep growing. The psychological relief from that is unmatched. This is where you can actually sigh and be chilling for a second and think, wow, I did it. The hard part is over. I am turning 28 this July, and I've essentially won the financial game. My hard stuff is over. From here on, it is just bonus points. I am still going to run my businesses. I am still going to start new things, but the zero stress is there. I don't stress about money anymore. I don't think about bills. If I want to take a month off, I can. If I want to invest in a new thing, I can. Why not? I can afford for it to fail. Most people don't talk about this enough, but level 5 can actually be a trap in its own way. You get comfortable sometimes, way too comfortable. When you are not stressed about money, you can lose some of that hunger that got you there. I was stuck here for like a year and a half. I semi-retired for a little bit, and honestly, it was kind of boring. You have to be intentional about staying driven. This phase is more about forcing yourself to keep building because it is not about need anymore. It is about what you want to create. Still, this is the best place to be. This is where life just opens up. The crazy part is you can realistically get to this in your mid to late 20s. No BS, you don't have to be 40 or even in your 30s or 50s. If you get a good chunk of money working for you in your 20s, even just a few $100,000 compound interest can do the rest. That becomes your background play. And by actual retirement age, that becomes a ridiculous amount of money. We're talking 8 figures. If you get to that $1 million invested in your 20s, the path to wealth isn't about grinding forever. It is about getting the money working for you as early as possible and then just letting time do its thing. Level 6 is abundance. This is where your money starts working harder than you ever did. I am just getting on the track for this stage personally. Your passive income and investment returns are generating more money than you could ever reasonably spend. This is probably going to be a wild level to experience. I am very excited for my life to be here. You are not just financially free at this point. You are genuinely wealthy. This is where you can start optimizing the money dial. Like, what do you actually want? Do you want first-class flights? Do you want a nice car? Do you want a house in multiple cities? Whatever it is, you can have that without really thinking about it. You are not at 9 figures here, but maybe you are at multiple 7 or 8 figures, and it is like, do I even want this stuff? At this point, my business income plus investment returns means that money is accumulating faster than I can spend it, even when I am spending a decent amount. And that creates a weird new set of problems. You still have problems all the time, but now it is like, how do I deploy money properly? How do I make sure I am still building something rather than just accumulating? How do I stay busy so I am not just being a bum? The danger at this level, from what I've heard from people ahead of me, is becoming untethered from reality. When money stops being a constraint at all, you can lose touch with what things cost, what matters, and the struggles that normal people go through. You have to be intentional about staying grounded and actually not being a jerk. The opportunity at this level is incredible. This is where you can really start to think about impact. You can invest in other people's businesses that you believe in just because you can. You can support causes you care about. You can give back a lot more. This is where you can invest in people in your life in meaningful ways that you could before. Money stops being about you and starts being about what you can do with it. That goes into the final stage, which is legacy. You are building generational wealth, whether that is through a huge business you are building to 9 figures or a massive investment portfolio. This is where you start giving back because you just have an excess amount of money. You are creating something that outlasts you. At this level, your net worth is probably in the multiple millions, maybe tens of millions or more. You are not just set for life. Your kids and grandkids are set for life. Your wealth exceeds what you could possibly spend in your entire lifetime. So the question becomes, what is it for? I know I am speaking in future tense here. Hopefully I am there in 10 to 15 years, but this is where it becomes about contribution, about leaving the world different than when you found it. I know the legacy argument sounds cheesy and some people don't believe in it, but honestly, when you are dead, none of the money matters. The soul is what matters. You want to leave a good mark on people. You want to make people feel good. You want them to remember how you made them feel, whether it was 1 meeting or 100 meetings, it doesn't matter. I was pretty against this stuff up until recently. I made a video a couple months back about building a community. I used to be all about going it alone, being a lone wolf, but come on, we all on this planet together. We may as well make it good and help each other while we here. Who really cares about anything else? It is well past the number in your bank account. It is about the ripple effect and how your energy and your love for people keep spreading long after you are gone. That is how you get there. These are the 7 stages that I don't want you to get stuck at level 2 or 3. Probably 95% of the population is stuck in level 2 or 3, maybe even level 1. And that is not because they can do better. It is because they don't realize the path exists. They don't realize the stages they have to go through. They think they have to work for money for a finite amount of time, put in a certain number of hours, and have 8 different jobs. They don't know what the next level looks like, so they never build toward it. But now, hopefully, you know where you are at. Most importantly, you know where you want to go and what it takes to get there. My only last question for you is, what are you going to do about it? Are you actually going to start that side hustle? Are you going to start investing that first $100? Are you going to learn a new skill? There is so much information out there that it makes analysis paralysis so easy. I just don't want you to fall in that trap because I've seen so many people make that mistake and end up screwing their entire lives up. Please start the business, start investing, start learning how to do these things on your own for free. There is no better time than right now. I really do hope you take this video seriously and that you are crushing life. As always, you made it this far and I want to see you win. Thank you for your time. See you in the next one. Peace.